After Apple's announcement cancelling the Apple Car project in February 2024, the focus now shifts to what's next for electric vehicle cars. With approximately 2,000 employees reassigned to Apple's generative AI team or other divisions, attention turns towards advancements in AI and products like the Vision Pro. Now, what's next for EV cars? Apple's car project history. The electric car project, Project Titan, was launched by Apple in 2014, which was designed to have a touch of self-driving technology. They had a huge team, 1,000 people and more, all around their headquarters. However, it seems to me like everything changed. In 2016, people believed that they had given up on the idea, but Apple reincarnated it by 2020. By 2022, they found out that making a car that can drive itself without being complicated was too difficult, so they simplified it. They cut even more in 2024, and they continue doing so in 2025. Now, Apple is brewing an electric car with self-driving capabilities just like Tesla's vehicle. However, it will not be completely autonomous. You'd still need to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. John Giananda is the one who is at the helm of this show, and Kevin Lynch, the Apple Watch guru, is also pitching it. They've designed a super chip for a car which is much better than the one they have in their computers. It is high-performing in the mind-oriented tasks required for autonomous driving. They will be putting the car through a number of modifications, which will include special sensors such as LiDAR and cameras to help the car see. Design and self-driving capabilities. Apple in the beginning had very ambitious plans for the Apple Car. The driverless car was their dream. They wanted to have a car that could drive itself without the driver having to do anything. However, that was beyond my capacity. Now, they're trying to revise their decisions. They're not building a fancy auto show without steering wheel and pedals. Instead, they're making one that is similar to a regular car. Just like you. You'll be the one driving it, but it will also be helping with steering or braking just like a Tesla. They will avail themselves of special sensors like LiDAR and cameras to help out, so they had to finally get a car out there after many delays as they needed to make it simpler. However, if they fail to make it work this time, they could well give up on the whole deal. Chassis. To begin with, the Apple Car was to be four-seated with seats facing each other and a roof curved like a Volkswagen Beetle. Then it is made to be more similar to a standard electric car with some self-driving features, and so the design becomes more usual. Infotainment system. Apple is thinking about putting a very large iPad type in the middle of the car, and it is similar to what Tesla does. You would use it to control what things you wanted, and it would connect with your other Apple devices. Processor. The chip they make for the car is the next generation, almost like having 4 Mac chips in one. It's about being good at the smart stuff that is required for self-driving. It could even require a sophisticated cooling system to prevent it from getting too hot. Apple Car cost. The Apple Car is expected to be a very high-end model or significantly higher than just a regular electric vehicle. Buzzing talks predict that Apple might sell it for less than $100,000, but even at this price, it would be significantly more expensive than the entry-level Tesla cars. It would be up with the top-notch Tesla Model S. Apple Car development history. Apple has been for years interested in the thought of building a car even before the iPhone was born. Even the founder of the company, Steve Jobs, himself pondered over it and even met with a car maker in 2010. However, he then decided to go with the iPhone instead of the tablet. It is worth mentioning that the iPhone is doing well now, and Apple is seeking to explore other exciting projects. The moment of the paradigm shift came when they started considering cars once more. In 2015, there were rumors about the Apple Car, and they just kept circulating. The van attracted much attention from the public due to its long and mysterious windows with lots of cameras. Apple said it was only for mapping purposes, but everyone was gossiping about it. Finally, someone from inside Apple told the world that they were working on something that could be huge and could compete with Tesla. This made the journalists take a closer look at Apple's developments. As a matter of fact, Apple had really been working on an electric car which was codenamed Project Titan. They had a big team and were even talking to automotive manufacturers. Nonetheless, designing a car turned out to be a more difficult task than they imagined. The bosses had their own different points of view, and the project got stuck in some places. Ultimately, the head of the project exited the scene and it was replaced by a new person. The technology of self-driving cars, however, was already on the top of the agenda, but even then, there were no smooth roads. There were many people who were fired, and the rumors started to circulate about Apple's actual plans. They used California's roads to test their self-driving technology and bought a house in Arizona for further testing. They are also planning to operate a van shuttle for their employees using self-driving vans. Apple was even considering the idea of building a car under its brand again, but nothing materialized. In 2022, they decided to back off their plans and go for a car with some self-driving functions, but not a completely autonomous one. And in 2024, they went down to the minimum level. Now, the Apple Car will support you in steering and braking, but you have to drive it by yourself and be careful about the road. They have an ambition to put a car into orbit before the end of the decade. The leadership of the Apple Car project has gone through a lot of changes, and right now it's in the hands of John Gianandrea, who manages Apple's AI and machine learning efforts. He took over from Bob Mansfield, the predecessor who retired in 2020. Kevin Lynch, who is a watch developer, is also on board to head the Apple Car development alongside his watch development. Apple, one of the most successful companies in the world, has been selecting candidates for the project. It is meant to establish a team of over 1,000 experts. They started in 2015 by hiring from all corners of the auto industry, people from big companies like Tesla, Ford, and GM, as well as smaller ones like Volvo, Karma Automotive. They've even hired a former A123 Systems battery tech expert, a graduate student from MIT Motorsports, and an autonomous systems expert from NVIDIA. The team was able to attract some former Tesla employees such as David Nelson, John Ireland, and Lawrence Seminara. They even hired people from other car companies such as Ford and Volkswagen, and from startups like Mission Motors. They have specialists with knowledge in areas such as self-driving cars, body design, and car infotainment systems. In 2021, they recruited Ulrich Kranz, who was the founder of self-driving car startup Canoe, and in 2022, they hired Daisy Echkashevich, who had been a longtime engineer at Ford, and Luigi Taraborelli, who was an executive at Lamborghini. This hiring is a clear indication that Apple is going to give its best to make their car project a success. However, the journey has not been without challenges. Ming-Chi Kuo, a trustworthy Apple analyst, said that the car team had been dissolved for a while, and they needed to get their act together once again if they were to start producing cars by 2025, which is their goal. Secret headquarters. It is rumored that there is a secret place in the Bay Area where the Apple Car project is under development. Some conjecture that the location chosen is in Sunnyvale, California, near Apple's main office in Cupertino. The buildings related to the project are named after characters of Greek mythology, maybe indicating that they are connected to Project Titan. City documents show that there is a RIA facility in Sunnyvale, which, according to the documents, seems to be automotive work related, as names like Lube Bay and Wheel Balancer are in the documents. Along with its two Californian sites, the company is said to be working on a stealthy car research and development center in Berlin as well. The lab is composed of engineers, software developers, and sales staff from the German automotive industry. In addition, Apple began to lease a big manufacturing facility in Milpitas, California by the end of 2018. However, its role is still unknown and it can be related to the Apple Car project. Safety is an essential issue to be taken into account while developing Apple's autonomous car. The company's protocols highlight the strictness of the testing that is done using simulation and closed-course proving grounds. The testers go through thorough training, and the vehicle is designed to take over control when it becomes necessary.